Hello everyone, I just released Oaknot 3.0 and I'm gonna do a little demo today of the new features, which is mostly cross-platform and JavaScript bindings. Those are the big things. Alright, so we support OS X, Ubuntu and Windows 10, not tested on prior versions of Windows, and I believe it will certainly not work on Windows 7 and less. Alright, let's download the zip for your platform. I'm going to extract this on my desktop. Here, you open this, you open oaknot.exe, you get a little warning, just ignore it, run anyway. And here you go. So you want to click create game. You can browse to where you want to create it. I'm gonna put this into documents. And I'm gonna give it a name, Awesome Game Demo. Alright, this is the full path where it's gonna create the game folder. Let's create it. Alright, so it created a folder. In there you have two folders and one file related to Visual Studio Code, which I highly recommend. But all you need is actually in the game folder. You get your executable and your assets. So if I double click it, you can see it works, and I can see Awesome Game Demo in the top left there. Alright, so let's try it in Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna open folder, go to my document, Awesome Game Demo. And now I have it, all the files and folders are here on the left. So if you want to run the game, you Ctrl-Shift-P, run, you can do task, run, test, task. And then you're gonna see Awesome Game Demo here, and you just run that. As you can see, it runs. Alright, so let's dig into the code a little bit. So I go in game, assets, scripts, everything in assets, the subfolders don't matter. The main can be directly into assets. Here you can see there's two functions, update and render. Those are the two functions that the engine is gonna run periodically. So by default, I'm just clearing the screen. Let's draw a sprite. I'm gonna go into my Oaknot samples, which can be downloaded from GitHub. I'm gonna go into the sprite sample and drag that little knot into assets. Alright, let's try it. To draw a sprite, you need to start you have to begin a sprite batch. Then draw the sprite. The first argument is a texture object, but you can also just pass the file name directly. So you can prototype really fast. I'm gonna draw it at the position 100, 100. Alright, Ctrl-Shift-P, enter, enter. As you can see, it's centered at 100, 100. Actually, I forgot something important, but the engine is very forgiving. But you're supposed to end the batch. Alright, and you can draw multiple sprites in there. For example, I'm gonna draw a second one centered on the screen. So I can get the resolution, renderer.resolution, and I'm gonna divide this by 2 to get the center. Ctrl-Shift-P, enter, enter. Alright, so there's also one in the middle. Now I'm gonna rotate it. I'm going to create a global angle. Every frame I will rotate it by 90 degrees by multiplying always by the delta time. Very important to have smooth animations. The third argument here is a color. I'm gonna put white and then the angle. As you can see, it rotates 90 degrees per second. Now we're gonna see other small features, for example, the tile map. Tile map created in tile map editor. Here's the map. I'm gonna drag that into my assets, and it's Atlas. I'm gonna drag it into assets. Just gonna close all this. All right, so I'm gonna cache it globally. Get tile map sample.tmx, and I'm gonna drag it before my sprite so I can see my sprites. Tile map.render. As you can see, you can also render layers individually. So if you have a background layers, then you can draw your entities, then you want to render your foreground after. And there we go. There's a tile map, there's the nuts. And if you need to move the map around, the first argument of the sprite batch begin, you can pass a transform matrix. So everything in the batch is gonna have a different position on the screen and whatnot. That's how you can pan the map. And the rendering of the tile map is all optimized to render only what you see on the screen, and it is chunked and baked. And it has pathfinding support and collision support. All right, now let's try to play a sound. I'm gonna go in my sound sample. I'm gonna drag sound 1. And I'm gonna play it when I press spacebar. So if input dot is just down. And by the way, you can notice I have full IntelliSense working. There's a little, that's Visual Studio Code that auto detects this file here. If you open that file, ognot.d.ts, you're gonna see everything you can do in the engine. All right. Here you have sprite anims and whatnot. So you can refer to that file if you're looking for something. And this file will give you IntelliSense. So key.spacebar. I'm gonna play sound. Sound1.wave. Now if I press spacebar, it's gonna play a sound. All right. I hope you can hear this. Now I'm gonna try the music. Again, in the same samples, I have a music OGG. I'm gonna drag that into my assets. And when it starts, I'm gonna play music.ogg. And let's run this. And you should be hearing music. All right, so it's really that simple. You can see how it can be very easy in a game jam to just use the game creation tool and like this and just create a game and then put that on GitHub and just start coding in JavaScript, and it's really, really simple. So don't hesitate to create issues. So I haven't tested that on a lot of hardware, and I know there's going to be issues by experience. So there's a issues tab in the GitHub. The link's gonna be in the description. Don't hesitate to create issues. And also send me feedbacks. I'm gonna put my email there to send me feedback, send me the games you created. I want to hear about it all. All right.